Hello everyone, as always, I'm Vlad Spara and I know things. There's a myth that is continually repeated in the world of Kali Pro 12, the myth of salt charges to chase away dogs or thieves. Why myth? Because there's practically no documentation. For example, I haven't found any salt ammunition produced today as standard, with data regarding speed. What's on the web are tests from people like me generally, and there are stories, some bizarre. In fact, we all know at least one 50-60-year-old shooter who swears that when he was a kid and stole peaches in the countryside, the neighbor shot him in the butt with salt. This would mean that thousands, if not tens of thousands of people in Italy have been hit by these ammunitions. Yet I've never seen them anywhere. So what did we do? We simply made them. We made some slightly different, somewhat experimental charges because we test before the charges they have. In particular, 1/7 ounce of salt. We used the largest salt actually that I found on the market, a Pakistani rock salt. And while other charges, a little heavier, about 1/5 of an ounce of salt, we try them. Let's see if there is a big difference between the construction of these two ammunitions. Our test in reality will go on based on what we get as a result, because I'm really curious to see what happens. So first of all, we start by shooting a paper target at 33 feet and see what happens with the salt, what the salt does and what it doesn't do. Let's try the first shot, then we'll see. I repeat, it's an experiment because I'm really curious to see what happens. So let's load up and see. Okay, from here, from a distance, I get the impression that the most dangerous thing right now is the slag. Let's fire another shot, get closer to the target, and see a bit better the effects on the target itself. Let's go take a look. So there are some pretty big holes caused by the wad. I have the impression that the wad is the most dangerous thing at this moment. There are some quite distinct and clear signs of salt, I must say. Honestly, I expected that anyway. This is cardboard, quite thick. Honestly, I expected it to do a little less. 33 feet effect, above all. It's better than I thought. Better than we thought, exactly. So let's try another target, still with the same charger, from 49 feet. I'm curious also because this type of ammunition, the salt, the light salt, loses energy quite quickly. There could be a drastic difference between 10 and 49 feet. I don't know. Let's see. We're here for that. Let's repeat the test at 49 feet to understand the dispersion, the accuracy as you wish. Let's put 2 shots in the weapon directly. We'll fire them off right away. Let's take a look. So already the difference, quite drastic, because apart from the bore holes, which I repeat remains perhaps the most dangerous thing we're launching, there's really very little salt. Because we have a little sign, 2, 3. So 3 pieces may be bigger than salt. At this distance, if it weren't for the fuzz, I don't know what the effect would be. Can't you even hear it? We want to do one thing. We want to repeat the test with the longer barrel, the choked one. Obviously we have it, the over-under of good Matteo. In addition to my shotgun, which has a fairly short barrel, so let's try with the long and choked barrel from 49 feet. Maybe the effect will be drastically different. We are back at 49 feet. The barrels here are almost twice as long because the shotgun you saw has a 16 inches barrel. These are 2.5 feet plus they are choked. So it should give us a more concentrated spread. We load 2 shots, always at 49 feet, and let's see again what salt can do at this distance. I feel like I was hit with a lot of salt. Wow, those barrels must be filthy. No appreciable difference. Another little mark takes 3 little marks. In general, I would say that at this point, in light of these conclusions, I would say 33 feet is the maximum city limit for this thing. Why look again at 33 feet? What difference we have had. Many more 49 feet, as I told you before. 49 feet already, as I told you before. It can be a huge difference for precisely the salt, which very quickly loses its own energy. But having therefore seen the range established at 33 feet, let's try to do something. First of all, I have a t-shirt with me and I have some meat. Yes, we are about to do tests on the t-shirt to see if it pierces clothes. We do it at 10-16 feet then, because we have established that 10 is the maximum, but 16 feet are still a bit more lethal. In quotes, we could say, let's see what it does on the t-shirt and on the meat at 5 and 33 feet. So we have a bear steak attached to the target. We also have the t-shirt, and here below, as you see, I put a tip now to hold it a bit better. As below you see, there is another steak. This is more to simulate also the layer of clothes that could cover a normal person. Also because people tend to go around dressed. We take the rifle again, load it, shoot this general direction. We will always shoot 2 shots and see if there is any obvious sign of what can happen. This time we are using 1/5 of an ounce of salt ammunition. We want to give as much chance as possible for the salt to have some effect on our target. I'm genuinely curious to see what happens. So let's load these 2 shots and fire them. Did you see the flame? Beautiful. Let's go take a look. When I say that the slag is the most dangerous thing, so we make a bit of shadow. Well, when I say that the slag is the most dangerous thing, it really is the most dangerous thing. The steak has been passed from side to side. But if you see, there are quite clear and obvious signs of salt. Let's look at the steak here. Here the t-shirt has not been punctured. This is quite interesting. I seem not to see any hole. However, the steak underneath shows signs. Where it was hit by the salt did not penetrate the t-shirt in this case. But you know what? This hurts. The dregs hurts even more than everything else, but honestly the salt is having much more effect than I was expecting. At this point I would say to even try at 16 feet. Let's try at 16 feet. Come on, I'll try at 16 feet. We are noticing a lot of burnt dust, among other things. In this, perhaps because the salt is too light and puts too much pressure, perhaps we should use a faster powder. Let's take a look at the result on the meat. So it seems to me to see penetrations in the shirt. I clearly see pieces that have implanted quite strongly into the meat. Turn to the other side, from the other side. This we shot. And this one was pretty riddled with salt. By the way, it's already melted. Holy Mother. But the interesting thing is that it seems to me that it does not penetrate, because here there are signs of salt, but no penetrations, there is no penetrated salt. So on bare skin it would penetrate and hurt. Dog. But already something like a t-shirt, it seems to me, we can say that it protects. Tactical consideration that if generally seen the short distance at which it works, let's say 16 feet, really effective distance, something 10 get to 16 feet if someone is attacking me at home, 16 feet, maybe you want to use something stronger, but which are the bullshit. It will devastate them. It will devastate them. Let's do right here. Good idea. A right one. A comparison with the classic high dots from the plate. Just to see how this test compares with such power. We go with the impression that they have ceased to exist. From how it was minced, I think there is absolutely no comparison from this point of view. This was just a comparison. What conclusions can we draw from this small experiment? First of all, I must say that the salt surprised me more than I expected. I thought it would completely disintegrate. In the deflagration of the powder, however, quite substantial pieces of salt continued their flight for even 33 feet, as we saw. On one hand, it doesn't penetrate the t-shirts, on the other hand, the meat. At least here, the pork steak did quite well in penetrating it when it hit. Certainly there is a lot of truth in the myth. It definitely hurts. It definitely hurts a lot. The wound could certainly burn. The most dangerous thing of all remains the slag. That is, the slag is that really dangerous thing. If such a slag at a short distance hits someone in the head, It can also shatter something. Would I recommend it for defense? No, because the moment you put aside the legal aspect of shooting someone or not, if you need to defend yourself and shoot someone, you should have something bigger, because salt might not work as we have seen. Maybe for clothes, maybe someone in a winter or night situation where you dress a bit heavier. This is a simple t-shirt, and it already didn't penetrate it. It could be annoying, but if the attacker is an animal with thick fur, or a drugged person who doesn't feel pain, this does absolutely nothing to them. So it's better to have something a little bit better. However, it's interesting because I learned something today, that there can be a lot of truth in myth. I see how charging these things with salt can be absolutely feasible. And stories of people who have been affected. It hurts a lot, burns for a long time, but it's less lethal. Well, I don't feel like saying non-lethal. In reality, they are true. I hope you enjoyed this experiment. Feel free to comment. Maybe something was missing in my test. Maybe you have an opinion about it. In the meantime, I thank good Matteo, who, as always, also assists me with the creation of these ammunitions. I thank the Bruni Polygon, and of course all of you who support the channel. If you also want to join these ranks, link in description.